In 2012, most video game news seems to revolve around America. Well, to that.
We stand for Queen,
Country, and video games. BRB UK.
Worse teeth,
Better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy, and welcome to episode 9 of BRB UK. It's the one that comes after 8, but before 10. And I've got a mastery of counting from 1 to 10, clearly.
That is some amazing insight into the world of podcasting everyone's just had there.
I know. And also, I know you're secretly envious of my numerical ability, Tim.
Because, you know, I've never really gone past 2. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just extrapolating from the fact that going to Lulu is I have to toilet for you. So.
On the plus side, it means you'll never be older than 22.
Well, it does mean that I can count my hands, but not my fingers. You know, but, you know, hey, such is life.
It goes kind of well with your not being able to use your opposable thumb, so everything's just kind of like done with your fist.
I know, like, I have 2 of them.
What, opposable thumbs?
Yeah.
Do you know what the word opposable means?
It means I can put them in different poses.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, that's Tim, you've just heard, making an utter tit of himself. And for a refreshing change, we have a man whose house now has heating, thanks to his iPad 3. It's John!
Hello!
How you doing, mate?
You always ask that, and it never changes.
Yeah, and you never have a reply.
It's because you're a surly Scotsman, that's
yeah,
why.
I'm being nice.
Sorry, I'll be in character.
There we go.
No, there was no need to change. You were already in character.
But I was just trying to be nice, mate. The amount of grief I get from people saying, oh, stop abusing John for being Scottish.
Sorry, when I jumped on Skype today, about 10 minutes ago, the first thing I got from Dan was, John, what the f*** is that you've drawn and draw something?
Yes.
So that's not what I'd call being kind.
No, it's me just being honest about your artistic skills, where you did some kind of impressionist expression of what a tree looks like.
I'll be honest, I don't really try in my drawing view. I just kind of smash my face on the screen and see what comes out.
That explains a lot. So okay. So you're enjoying your iPad 3 anyway, John?
It is an iPad.
When you're not busy smashing your face into the screen.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
The Retina display can take it. It's fine.
So basically, you're going to end up in the Apple Store with a cracked iPad display going, well, I didn't say the instruction booklet, I couldn't use it with my face.
I was trying to draw something for Dan.
With my face. With my face.
Trying to draw with a Glaswegian kiss, yeah?
But it's a nice bit of kit. It does what it does, and it does it very fast. So, moving on.
Yes. So, chaps, it wouldn't be right if another week went by and we didn't talk about Mass Effect 3.
I still haven't bloody finished it.
Well, you may well
Is that a video game, guys?
That is a video game. And apparently, the ending caused a bit of a kerfuffle on the interwebs. I know.
I've seen the kerfuffle, I haven't seen the ending.
Okay, so what BioWare have kind of met them halfway. I know Yoshi Fair, Dogs Die, and Smelly Pirate talked about this on Boom recently, but it's a real halfway house. I don't necessarily think they've entirely sold out on this, because rather than redoing the ending and it being a new ending, they're essentially adding scenes to fill in some of the blanks, like presumably fill in what time there was. I can't say anything, Tim, because I'll spoil it for you.
No, you can't say anything. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone anyway. So
I'm expecting like a comedy montage sequence put to like Spanish Flea or something. And it's like Commander Shepard went on to become High Council at the Canada. Morden went on to become, and it is, you know, all happy.
Now, what I want is that back. If they do that back by the montage song from Team America. Do a montage.
No, I still want it to be a text-based adventure where they just go, right, you don't like it? Make the story up your bloody self. Here you go. Write whatever the hell you want.
There we go. How'd you like them apples? It's what it's going to be.
Text entry box, just write the hell what you want.
What I like is that they haven't caved into their kind of own artistic vision too much by changing the ending itself. They've said, you know what, we've done what we wanted to do and we've done it, and you know what, if you want some exposition, fine, we'll give you some exposition.
And honestly, I mean, I think if they're going to change it, this is the way to do it, because when I was watching the ending, which is something you should really get around to at some point, Tim.
I would. I've been stuck doing reviews and I feel duty bound to get those reviews out as quickly as I possibly can.
Playing games to review.
it's first world problems, but how much do I want to finish Mass Effect 3? Very much. How much do I definitely want to feel it? Just finish it before I actually get spoiled on the ending?
Well,
very much indeed.
Anyway, Tim, I'm sorry to hear your diamond shoes are too tight. But I mean, I think it's, there were some bits in the ending where I thought, okay, well, how did we get from point A to point B, and what actually went on in other aspects of that particular scene? So it's coming in summer. It's going to be free, which is, I think, the way they had to do it. And I still don't think this is going to make the fanboys happy, but I don't think anything would make them happy at this stage.
They could give them, like, a gold-plated Rex, and, like, it wouldn't make most of them happy, you know what I mean? Be like, I still didn't get the perfect ending, I wanted it to be a femship.
What I hope it's an extended scene of what some of the ancillary characters were doing whilst the ending was going on. So perhaps there's Rex sitting on the bog trying to crimp one out, going, I wish this war was over. I just need a really good It'd be great. All this random stuff like that. It'd be brilliant.
So that's been, 5 minutes of this podcast. We're not a toilet human already.
Yeah, Krogan's doing it.
We are off to a fantastic start. There is a lot of Mass Effect stuff this week, though, isn't there?
There certainly is, because they've also, not only was there the first patch for the game, which fixes the issues of importing your face from Mass Effect 2 if you've got a custom shep.
My face?
Yes, your face.
Your face, my face, everybody's face. Your face will now work. You'll look less of a mongoloid in Mass Effect 3 if you...
My face doesn't work, liar.
No, or rather, isn't it Muff Diver Shepherd's face that you're more interested in?
Yeah, she looks ugly anyway. She's still got the scars. I never repaired her face, but hey.
I want to see a picture of Muff Diver Femshep, please.
Okay, I will try and do so. Yes. I'll put it on the forum thread, eh?
Yeah, let's have an ugly shep-off. Let's see who can make the ugliest shepherd.
The shep-off.
The shep-off.
If you can find an uglier shepherd than mine, because, I really shouldn't have strayed from the, original, Commander Shepherd, template thing, because, it went horribly wrong.
To be honest, Shepov just sounds like the Russian name for Commander Shepard.
Shepov.
Commander Shepov.
That?
In Soviet Russia, face rearranges you. Or something to that effect that's actually funny.
You are talking about something else in Mass Effect this week before we got horribly sidetracked.
It was. So not only is it the a bug patch, but they've also released the free Resurgence multiplayer DLC, which contains 2 more maps, both of which are rather lots of fun.
Have you played through it?
I've played both the levels on it. Yeah.
Is it? It hasn't caused any problems for you, no?
No.
Because I've heard there are some people that are reporting that it's causing problems beyond even the multiplayer, causing people to not be able to access the single player game.
Well, in all fairness, I haven't played the single player of Mass Effect 3 since I've installed that.
But if you're I think it was a problem that was kind of locking people out of the game, or I didn't really read too much into it. But I have heard there were issues. If anyone else out there has had issues, let us know. But so we can inform other people.
I mean, certainly when I was playing it the other day with Pac-Man, Polar Bear, Dave, and Yoshi Fett, and none of them mentioned that they had any props. But it's a good update. I mean, the maps are of as equally high quality as the ones that came with the game, and you get some new multiplayer characters to level up. There's a Batarian, a Geth that you can play as, another Krogan as a Vanguard, I think, who will actually make the Vanguard class useful, because the problem with the Vanguard class is that their main attack is running into the middle of stuff.
You need a Krogan to be a Vanguard, basically.
Yeah,
that is what they do.
But they then fall over because they're a bit weak, the usual Vanguards. And I think there's another Solarian in there or something like that. But it's well worthwhile.
One question I want to ask about the multiplayer that I wasn't sure about. If I've gone... And I don't want to spoil this for anyone else, but if I've gone into the kind of final stage, anyone that's played a Mass Effect game will know before, there's a kind of point of no return type thing. If I've gone past that point of no return, is there any point in playing the multiplayer?
Apart from the fact it's awesome fun.
Well, no, I'm not. It's great, and I told everyone before when I got to see an early portion of it not to worry about the addition of it because it was going to be great. So I'm well aware of that. But no, what I want to know is, will it make a difference to my Galactus Ready rating, or should I just wait until I'm on my second playthrough to do the multiplayer? I don't know now.
It's fairly obvious what the point of no return is. It happens just after you swap back to
No, that's what I'm saying. I am definitely at that point. Or pretty sure I'm at that point.
Are you still on the Normandy?
No.
Okay, well then probably it won't alter your galactic readiness rating.
So I think I'm going to leave playing too much in the multiplayer until I'm
Because you know how the Galactic's readiness... That's such a hard thing to say. Galactic readiness rating.
This is extremely interesting, guys, but...
Well, it'd be interesting for anyone else that's in a similar position, and I wanted to know myself, so
just
it's worth
because you've got a Retina display, Mr. Fancy Pants, and haven't played Mass Effect 3, you go, okay, let's talk about the shiny new gadget that...
I'm pretty sure there's a newer RPG that we could be talking about right now.
There is,
which people
indeed.
might be more interested in.
Well, a newer yet older one.
Yes.
Well, newer yet older, in that it's shinier and probably has more boobs.
So, anyway, on that mammary-tastic note, we're going to move on with the rest of the show. We're going to be talking a bit about The Witcher 2, and also to, assuage John's ego somewhat, we're going to talk some iPad stuff.
Oh,
and also,
do we have to?
Yep, and also the Great British Debate as well. So all that to look forward to, and possibly a little bit more. Some very bad toilet humour and terrible jokes from me abound in the rest of BRB UK, Episode 9.
Come on, did you ship off Viperin?
So, Tim has spent most of this week either playing or going to an event about a game that's under NDA, which means we can't talk about it to a specified time. But the game is more than a year old on the PC. This confuses me.
But it's not quite. This is an actual...
Oh, sorry. It was released on the 11th of May. It's only 11 months and 2 weeks old.
No, that's not what I'm saying. This is actually a different version of the game, and so much so that the anyone that bought the PC version last year will actually be getting this as a full, massive update, basically, for free. So it's worth people coming back to the PC version. But there's also the brand new 360 version, and for those that don't know, this is the Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings, I think the subtitle is, and it's basically now on the 360, and that's the version that I've been playing through, and it's also the version that I got to see an event for. Went to BAFTA headquarters, and they had their little cinema screen, and they had the two of the guys who made the game, one of the level designers and one of the QA testers, just talking through some of the elements of the game and fielding some questions on it and stuff, basically.
Was the QA tester just sitting there going, what is this daylight? I don't know what this is.
But loads of people asked questions, and the guy who was hosting it had to go, and I'll just have to ask the QA tester one question before we go, because no one asked him any questions. No one asked any questions that he was in a position to answer. The other guy jumped in. And I also think the other guys, because they're Polish developers, CD Projekt, the guys, and the other guy's English was very good, so I think that's why he kind of hosted most of the stuff, basically.
Okay, now, first off, this is a game that certainly, when the PC version came out, their marketing tactics were a little unusual. I'm just going to go through what's been cited as their marketing on Wikipedia. May 2011, Polish version of Playboy featured the character Triss on the cover half naked.
Yeah, that kind of does actually suit the game. The game is definitely a mature game. It talks very much about sex. It has sex scenes in it, and they're not necessarily gratuitous. They are quite well handled in a lot of places.
What? No,
that was a bad choice of words. No, let's not go down there.
In
Anyway,
Russia, Publishers 1C Company released a real-life nude calendar with copies of the game, featuring Ukrainian model Cody Monsoon as Triss.
She handles well as well, I bet.
But one thing that I find really funny that's definitely from the mature theme, but also definitely cites it in Polish culture, because it's Polish developers, but it's also based on a Polish book as well.
Are you just saying the Polish love the boobies?
Well, no, but they also love the vodka. And I don't know about you, but I've never had a game where I've had trolls drinking vodka and asking me for vodka. Just a bit odd.
So there's a lot of stereotyping going on here, is what you're saying.
Well, there's a lot of vodka just generally throughout, and I have to say, I won't spoil it for anyone because it's a brilliant little mini mission, but there's a mini mission that I had to go, oh yeah, he gave me this mission when he was drunk. Okay, now I understand the mission.
So
and it's brilliant.
Is that mission just collecting road furniture?
Well, no,
I'll have that traffic code.
One thing I really like about the game, it's quite a sort of dark fantasy RPG. You've got sort of elves and trolls and lands like that, but it's very much kind of as I said, dark fantasy and gritty. But then I really like. The story is very... I'm not familiar with any of the previous work. I didn't play The Witcher 1 and stuff like that, and diving into The Witcher 2 does feel a little bit funny because he's got a lost memory thing, and I don't really know if that's a hangover from the first game or just what started in the second game.
Or just the vodka.
but it is a really good detailed story. It kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones in terms of the fact that it's got, you know, sex, dark fantasy, and is adult orientated sort of.
Does it have Sean Bean?
And no Sean Bean, unfortunately, but there is some really good voice acting in it as well, actually. But one of the things I really like about the game, coming back to this, is the way it presents some of the missions to you and stuff like that. There's one bit where you're in a bar chatting to someone, and then you just wake up the next day completely butt naked with a tattoo you didn't have the day before, having lost all of your stuff.
Nice.
So is it basically just is it just a hangover?
The mission is just called Hangover. That's all it's called.
So you're stuck in Latvia naked without your passport and only have £5 to get back
and you
home.
literally have to find out what happened to you, and that's like one of the missions, you know what I mean?
Awesome.
But there's other ways that things are presented to you, and there's like you know, kind of your standard fare stuff, like there's mini games, like there's a dice rolling game that's basically just poker dice. There's like a fighting mini game that's like fist fighting. It's basically just what's the name? Quick time events, but you know, it's done quite well and free flowing and fits in with the rest of the combat sort of thing. The basic combat in the game is a combination of using a sword that you have like light and heavy attacks with. You can like lock onto a target, which I think is new for the console version. They've also made this is one of the things they talked about at the talk, that they've made a lot of adjustments to the way the camera works, and the fact that it automatically follows your character rather than like just sort of you know, on the PC it's a lot easier to sort of just maneuver the camera with the mouse and stuff like that. So they've put a lot into this, and also compared to the last year's PC version as well, they've also added something like I think it was 4 hours of gameplay, I think, basically.
So like extra quests and things like that?
Yeah, but they deliberately they had some feedback saying that the last third of the game didn't feel quite as grand as it should be, so they've put in like 2 massive quests there that are like kind of ramp things up a little bit, and they showed a bit of one of those quests as well. And yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm coming into the series not really knowing much about it, and from what, as a console gamer and not really a massive PC gamer, there'll be a lot of people in a similar position because this is the first one that's been on consoles.
So, I mean, kind of, from the way you're describing the gameplay, it kind of sounds like a more involved version. I know the plots are different, but kind of the gameplay mechanics sound a bit Dragon Age 2-ish. Is that fair, or is it a bit more involved than that?
That's fair, but I have to say, despite the fact I love BioWare and everything BioWare, this is a better game than even Dragon's Age, from my personal opinion, sort of thing. It is a really, really good RPG. The combat itself is fun. Apart from the swordplay that I was talking about as well, you also get magic that you can use as well. Although it's kind of you're using signs rather than magic, as they say, and like you'll cast a magical sign and that'll do the spell, sort of thing. But
it's not just visions you're having through alcohol intoxication.
It's quite possible.
Pink elephant.
But there's
thing.
also like alchemy and other ones. And basically, the setup is that you are a witcher who is basically a professional monster hunter. That's basically your job. So you'll go out in the world and look for paid work hunting monsters, and eventually you'll fight, and I've only fought one of them so far, but you'll fight some really big kind of like end of level boss style monster type things, which I quite like having in a single player game. And even though I didn't play all of Skyrim, so I can't necessarily compare it fully to Skyrim, the one thing I really like about it in comparison is the thing that I think stopped me from playing as much Skyrim as I might have done, apart from building a website at the time and everything. But the one thing is that it's got a bit more direction to it. Like, you do know where you're going. The only criticism I'll make of Witcher, and it's something I actually told the developer when I was chatting to him yesterday as well, is that the map isn't brilliant, and I'd live with the map not being brilliant because it's sort of style over substance a little bit, but I'd live with that if the marker system was better. Sometimes that marker system is terrible.
What, as in, like, trying to get you somewhere?
Yeah, marking where you're going to, or say you've got to meet someone and there's a building that's on 3 levels, it'll just be directly above it, and it won't tell you which level they're on. And I got stuck and wasted a load of time because I didn't realise there was a room on the 3rd level that I could get to, sort of thing.
Okay. And is it just one big map, a bit like Skyrim and kind of other...
Yeah, no, it's not quite as open as that. Basically, I'm just coming to the end of chapter 1 at the moment, and that doesn't sound like I've done much, but there's only like 3 chapters and a prologue type of idea.
A third still makes it sound like you haven't done much, in all fairness.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, this has had all my game playing time, and I'm going to be cranking through it this weekend to try and get my review done before the release on Tuesday, basically.
Okay.
And but yeah, it's been a really enjoyable game. Like as I said, the third that I've done so far has been quite good, but you're quite free to go anywhere within the confines of it's basically a city. And then a small sort of townlet that's just on the outskirts of that city, and then the surrounding forestry areas and stuff that you can get.
But it's not like Skyrim, and you can go wherever you like on the map.
It's not completely freeform. You can go anywhere within that area generally.
That's relevant to the sort of part of the story that you have.
And from what I've heard and what I've spoken to and what I've seen on the presentation they gave, that you do move to a completely different area, and the prologue was set in a castle, or like quite a big castle and stuff like that, and the surrounding area of that. And then, as I said, this has moved into the town and forestry areas and stuff.
And is there any kind of crafting of your own equipment, armour, stuff like that?
Well, the crafting's a bit strange in some areas. You do get the alchemy, as I said, where you can mix potions and oils to put on your sword and stuff like that to enhance your sword.
Or the ladies.
Yep. You also get to enhance...
Seriously, do you get to oil up ladies?
No.
Oh.
You also get to enhance
awesome.
your sword with mutagens, as they call them, as well, which helps things do different things and just basically
mutates them, as it were.
Adds some stats to it and stuff.
That's a technical term, ladies and gentlemen.
But then there's the full alchemy thing, and the alchemy thing's quite interesting actually, because you can only drink a certain amount of potions before you go over a toxicity rating.
So you can basically poison yourself.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you drink too many potions at once. So you have to be a bit careful about what you're taking. And it's a bit weird as well, because you have to go into meditation mode to drink a potion, and then the potion only lasts for, say, a certain amount of time, 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
So you have to... Even though you can make potions quite freely and you can have them quite available, it's difficult to sometimes know exactly when. I mean, most of the major missions you're going into, you have a fairly good idea, and if you're wandering out into the forest and feeling a bit underpowered, you might want to use a potion then, sort of idea. But then, one of the things that works quite nicely is it's got, and I don't know if this was actually in the PC version or not, I get the impression it might have been, or it might have been an addition for the 360 version, but it's got a sort of a pop-up menu wheel that comes up, and it doesn't actually stop time like it does in Mass Effect. It just slows it down a lot.
So it's like kind of a bullet time, temporary
so
bullet time.
Slow, but it is really slow, and it's long enough to switch between your basic spells, or your signs as they call them, or switch between your different gadgets as well, because you get gadgets that involve bombs or traps or throwing knives. And yeah, the combat itself is very enjoyable. I actually started playing the game in easy, just because it defaulted to that, and you actually get all the achievements for that anyway. Well, no, because the prologue you do a battle, and depending on that battle, it suggests your thing. And
so you suck at it, basically. Well, hey, look, you look like...
They'd be like, you're so rubbish.
You look like you've got special gaming needs.
I played through the bit of the intro, and then I think I did something like put it on pause, and I got distracted by a long phone call. I think I maybe even gone off and cooked dinner, came back, picked up the pad, and had no idea what I was doing. Got my arse completely kicked and went, oh. And then it said default into easy, and I went, no, go normal. And it went, no, you want easy. I was like, oh.
It's like a school teacher telling you, you know what, you tried your best, but all the other school kids were much better.
But it was a good few hours until I got into the game, until I found that it was still in easy. And I've heard from other people that the combat is quite hard, and I've played a bit of the combat in normal now, and yeah, it is a bit tougher, but in a challenging and good kind of way. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing.
And that's some of the feedback that I heard about the PC version, was that it's a very steep initial learning curve, but then kind of peters out a little bit.
And you might even want to play in the initial part of the game in easy anyway, because, as I said, you get all the achievements for doing it anyway, as far as I've seen. So
okay,
that's not
enough.
a bad thing anyway.
So would you recommend buying it then, mate?
I think, and I have to wait and see, but if it carries on to the same level of quality that it has, and to the same level of entertainment it has, then I think this is going to be my first game to get maximum marks. Tune into my review to see if that definitely remains the case, but it's looking quite good.
That's right, guys. Tune into the website, BigRedBarel.com.
Tune in on your wireless.
Yes.
However that works. So basically, to summarise, great graphics, great gameplay, loads of content, and boobs.
I can tell you one thing that I don't have: an iPad. I don't have one of those. No, I in fact, like, other than like computery type things, I don't have an iDevice in my life. What am I missing out on? Because John, like, you're one of these people that really, you know, you're a big PSP fan and stuff like that, and you haven't got a Vita,
not anymore.
And you have bought an iPad 3. Now, is that I theorise, and maybe this is going a bit far, but did the PSP Go kill your interest in the PS Vita?
Can I just say, best tangential intro ever?
It's actually, by Tim's standards, it was actually pretty good. So, well done.
They're pretty low standards. I've set the bar nice and low.
PSP or PSP Go, whichever of them, looking back, I didn't play them as much as I thought I was going to play them. And I actually bought the iPad mainly because I was going to use it for, like, taking it to places where my laptop could go.
But you didn't look quite trendy enough when you went there, is basically what you're saying.
But it's actually, I found out it's actually doubling as a really, really good gaming device. And I mean, I was thinking when I picked it up, I thought I might actually end up buying a Vita, and now that I've had some time with that, I have a feeling I probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, you wrote an article for the site this week saying that, yeah, buy an iPad 3 and you won't need anything else.
Pretty much. That's exactly what the title is. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm still catching up on a lot of the kind of the back catalogue. Pretty much everybody listening to this as an iDevice will have played by now.
See, I've already downloaded a free version of Rage HD or whatever it was, just ready in case I ever do buy an iDevice.
Well, Infinity Blade was sitting at 69p, so I thought I can't say no to that.
And that is a cracking game.
That is a brilliant little game. I've been playing Jetpack Joyride, the half-brick one, the guys that made Fruit Ninja.
Another excellent game.
A bit of Hardlines, Hero Academy, stuff like that. But one game that actually took me by surprise, I had a look at a couple of the Assassin's Creed ones, because I thought I'll go through some franchises, Dead Space, GTA, all that stuff.
Oh, the Dead Space iOS game is fantastic.
There's a kind of a card game called Assassin's Creed Recollection, and it's really, really good.
Yeah, that's the kind of card game.
It's the real-time sort of card game, and it's all about, like, influenced by, like, controlling, like.
But that's lifted out of Revelation. It's either Revelations or Brotherhood. I can't remember which one. Where there is that kind of game of playing cards in the game, and it's
it works really, really well on a touch screen.
See, I think that's a really good way to, like, kind of cross-promote the product while remaining true to the franchise type of thing. I mean, like, they could have easily made a sort of, a running game type thing or something that was an action type game, but
there is a multiplayer game that basically plays like the multiplayer in Brotherhood and in Revelations, and that it is you walk around and stab people in that,
but it's a bit rubbish.
It's a bit rubbish.
But this seems like a much better idea, taking a card game, something that will work on a mobile device.
I've been impressed with the whole thing so far. I mean, the screen itself looks brilliant. Like, you cannot look at it, you can't find pixels in it. That's the most amusing thing about it.
Because it's got the same Retina display, which is all about pixel density, isn't it? As the...
Is that why you've been headbutting it? Not because you wanted to headbutt it, but it's just because it's so beautiful, you can't resist, yeah?
Pretty much. And the camera on it is... it's a 5 megapixel one. It's essentially the same one they use in the iPhone 4S, except they cut it down to 5. Isn't the iPhone 4S 8?
Yeah, it's an 8 megapixel
and it's cut it down to 5, but it's still an absolutely cracking little camera. You can't do HDR on it, but in the same way that you can do it natively on the iPhone 4S, but it's still a cracking little camera. The screen looks great.
But the one thing I have heard is that it does get mighty toasty, which may be an advantage for you up in Scotland. But
yeah, because it's very cold and it doesn't get as hot as a lot of people. I mean, I saw an article saying that it runs as hot as like 100 degrees Fahrenheit and things like that. But it's never actually gotten anywhere as normal as warm as that. It's gotten comfortably warm to hold, I'd say. Not like roasty toasty, but comfortable.
But comfortable warm to hold in Scotland is probably a higher temperature than would be comfortably...
From a totally objective point of view, it has become comfortably warm to hold, alright? Not from a Scotland is cold point of view or anything like that.
So before Tim flogs this dead comedic horse anymore, one thing I will say is that with games on kind of not only the iPad but kind of iThings and mobile devices already, in general, is the fact there's a lot of crap out there, and you do have to sometimes hunt to find the diamonds in the rough. And there's a lot of games which try and replicate traditional controls on a touchscreen. Generally, they don't.
FIFA, for example.
Yeah, and they don't work well. But what does work well are the things that go, right, this is a completely different input method. How can we use it best of all? And things like Infinity Blade 2, even Dead Space, which, although fair enough,
The point I made in the article, essentially.
I'm just going to give up trying to make my point then.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I'm agreeing with you. The point I essentially made
Okay,
is
I've got something to say. The rest of you, Sassenach, shut up.
The point I basically made in the article I wrote is that any reservations I've had about it being a kind of full-blown on-the-go gaming device pretty much disappeared, like, when I started actually using it for games. Because full-blown doesn't necessarily mean, a lot of people interpret it as meaning that you have to have a proper controller for it and buttons and stuff like that, and you don't. I mean, stuff like Infinity Blade now, I could play, a good couple of hours or two, just playing through it because it's good fun.
But I know we've had fun playing Game of Life while podcasting and stuff before at Eurogame last year, but I saw a dude on his own playing Monopoly, and I was just like, oh, that's so sad. Like, it's just a businessman sitting there playing Monopoly. I'm like, you got no one to play Monopoly
Well, maybe he's not doing very well in business and he's fractured himself up.
Yeah, do you know what's even more sad and moronic? I was actually at a wedding recently where someone fished out their iPad to take photos with.
Yeah. See, I would use my phone on the go. I wouldn't reach into my bag and go, oh, let me get my iPad out for this one.
I mean, all he was doing, basically, is broadcasting, hi, everyone, I'm a cock. I'm a big fat cock. All right?
But, I mean, I will say, I imagine if you've got an iPad 2, it might not be worth the upgrade just yet.
I mean, I've had, when I was in the Apple Store the other day, I had a look at it, and although the iPad 3's essentially got the same processor, but it's got 4 GPU cores instead of 2, and that's essentially to take
all
care
the graphics.
Yeah, that's to all the graphics, because it's got twice as many pixels as an iPad 2. Otherwise, the performance is very similar. Battery life is the same. But I think I'm waiting for whatever the iPad 4 will be, I think.
But if you're a first-time buyer and you're thinking about it, 2 things. Either get a smart cover and a sleeve, or get something that combines the 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
A smart sleeve.
You want... Yes, very...
A smart sleeve, yeah.
Smart skin.
Smart sleeve.
Yeah, that sounds a bit like a foreskin.
Every time.
Yeah, I know. But there have been some games that have kind of gone the other way. Have gone from like consoles to mobile devices. Dead Space is obviously one of them. That is quite possibly one of the very best iOS games. If you haven't picked it up already,
do you like Dead Space on the iOS?
Mate, I love it.
I've never heard you talk about it, ever.
It's so good, it got a BAFTA nomination in its ace. But Burnout Crash came out today. We're recording on April the 12th, and Burnout Crash came out on the iPad and iPhone. And for those of you who don't remember, that was the kind of top-down Burnout game.
And it was very good fun.
Yeah, which embraced Connect, essentially, where you drive up into an intersection and then crash into stuff.
Which is why I bought it on the PS3.
Yeah, absolutely. But it works really well on an iPad. It's the kind of game that actually really suits touch control.
So is it just the same as the PS3 and 360 one, and then you just tilt the iPad to drive it?
No. There's none of that motion control nonsense.
Is it all just touch?
Good. Yeah, it's also you kind of draw the path. When you're driving up to the intersection, your car follows your finger.
Oh.
And then when you crash, to change the direction in which you crash,
you
just
tap on the car to blow it up?
No. You flick with your finger.
Right.
You swipe to explode and go in that direction.
Imagine that if you said that on your iPad on lock screen, swipe to explode.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But it works really well. I've only played it for about an hour and a half, and it kept me sane during my tube journey today.
Well, it's a game that's out today, and you've already played it for an hour and a half.
I have long tube journeys, and I think it works really well. It only cost £3, so that's a really good value for a great game. And Criterion do make great fun games, and it's the kind of game you can just pick up and play.
Does it have the same amount of crash junctions and stuff for that?
Yeah,
one
it does. Yeah, it's exactly
that's
the same
a really
game.
good deal for that price as well.
Yeah, so that's a cracking game. I recommend you go up and pick it up. And it's got the auto log functionality tied into your Origin account. Yay, Zors.
Well, you know what? Nobody I know uses Game Center, so let's get at least more people on it.
I use Game Center. I accepted your request, sir.
Wow, you use Game Center. That is an endorsement and a half.
Yeah,
Game Center as endorsed by Captain Average and nobody else in Britain.
Here's a good reason not to use it. If John sends you a friend request, you get a picture of him with the world's dodgiest facial hair on it. and bizarrely bouffant hair. It's very strange. It's like
You're just
like
jealous.
seeing a pre-op, pre-hormones transsexual on your iPad. It's
You
just
are
not good.
jealous.
No, I'm really
Right, let's talk
not.
about Infinity Blade, because you love that game so bloody
Yes,
much.
Infinity Blade 2, which I recommend, in it is just had again today a brand new update where it's introduced something called clashmobs. Something that
They're
is
like
quite
flash mobs. Like
Yeah,
clash
but
mobs.
clashy.
Yes. No, it's not. It's not flash mobs.
Plays
You don't
punk
run into the
music-y
middle of the
stuff.
village square and dance to your own private musical awesomeness. This is all about kind of collective challenges, a bit like there is on games like Lumines, where kind of there's a worldwide challenge of clearing as many blocks as possible.
Oh, I wish I knew how that was pronounced, so I knew how badly you were pronouncing
Luminous,
that word.
I think, actually, is how it's meant to be.
Luminous. Lumins.
Kev, has
Anyway.
Kev White has just exploded somewhere.
Anyway,
So basically, it's a series of challenges. It's like you all chip away at the health of a particularly strong monster, or you've got to collectively collect a certain amount of gold, and everyone.
oh, is it like Nobi Nobi Boy, and then you have to stretch so far and you reach the moon and
Yes,
stuff like that?
but good. And it looks really good fun. The challenges are literally kicking off at this minute as we start to record, but there's a series of daily challenges, and you sign up to them, and if you participate, you get a reward. It looks really good fun. For some reason, this is the only thing that irks me. The only way to access the clash mob functionality is by signing in via Facebook. And I don't know why you need to do that. That annoys me.
Oh, do you know why it'll be? It'll be so you can say, I've reached this much damage on this guy.
Yeah, I don't want to look like a twat, so I've just said only I can see my Infinity Blade.
Yeah, no, but
updates.
see, a number of iOS games seem to have the Facebook integration things, and I don't get it. I don't like it.
Well, I won't go into my rant about how I dislike the amount of information that Facebook holds about you, but, I think it's... Bearing in mind, there is Game Center there, which is what it should be using. I just don't like all this Facebook. The ubiquity of Facebook is something that really annoys me. It might be because I'm approaching middle age and therefore don't understand what the youngins are doing, but...
It's just the checklist these days: driving license, wallet, passport, Facebook account.
Incriminating evidence to prevent me getting a job on Facebook.
People assume you have a Facebook. That's what I don't like. It's not like, oh, do you have Facebook? It's, oh, your Facebook... Oh, no, I don't have Facebook. What do you mean you don't have Facebook? You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't have Facebook.
It's not, Tim, you're allowed to admit it, you don't have any friends. It's fine.
No, any of the friends that I have in my life, I've stayed in contact with. If I didn't stay in contact with them, there's generally a reason.
The reason he doesn't like it, John, is that he owns a face and he owns books, and he tried to combine the two and got nasty paper cuts.
Nasty
That's why he
paper
doesn't
cuts
like
all
it.
over my
your
eyes.
face. Yeah. So there we go. So there's lots of great games out there for iOS. There's a lot of crap out there, but there's also some real gems.
And even the crap is generally low priced, so, hey.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the show which you're probably thinking, goodness me, is it the end of the show already? Or thank God it's the end of the show, I can stop listening to this. It's the Great British Debate, and this week we have Tim and John getting into a terrible round of verbal fisticuffs with one another. I require angry noises from you both. Tim, let's hear your angry noise. And John? That was crap.
I don't know, you could have just said anything in your normal Scottish voice and it would have sounded angry.
That was kind of like a slightly camp and effete cat that had just been rained on, going rawr,
Rawr. Rawr.
Anyway, so animal noises aside, because this is only going to go one way, and that's downhill.
Oh, I can't get any further down than this, surely.
We can. Is we've got to talk about what topic you two are going to be discussing. So,
It's a generally good idea, yeah.
It is. That's the way a debate works, after all. Unless it's a debate en masse, and then that's just...
No,
What?
just go.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, all right, eyes on the prize.
Walk out the door.
Stay on target. So anyway, there's been quite a lot of coverage in the press about the next generation of consoles, so the PS4 Orbis or Bollock or whatever it's going to be called, I'm not entirely sure.
I guarantee you, as someone pointed out to me when I was discussing it, that it won't be called the PS4 because 4 is an unlucky number in Japan.
Ah,
There you go.
marvellous.
So it'll be the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, they'll just skip it.
Excellent. Good. Anyway, fun though that clarification was, though, Tim. We're going to move on. So there's been a whole load of talk about the fact that once you've used a game on one system, you can't use it on another one. And there's been some burblings of this already happening in the current handheld generation. If you've bought a Vita game cartridge, for example, you can only earn trophies on it if you're the first user of that cartridge.
Because trophies are so important.
I know they are, if you don't get out enough. But anyway, so the question is anti-second use games in new consoles beneficial for gamers? Tim, for reasons best known to himself, has decided that yes, it would be beneficial.
Mainly because I don't understand the question.
Yes, good, marvellous. So you, sir, will have 30 seconds to come up with some kind of reply to a question you don't even bloody understand. When I say go, and go.
Well, like, go now?
Yes,
like,
now.
Start talking about things now, yeah?
Yes,
like
it
now.
Started.
Like from this second.
You're already like 5 seconds in.
Right, okay. Not filling time at all. Anyway, right.
No.
It's good for
10
gamers
seconds.
because it is. Generally because, like, it's not necessarily good first-hand for gamers, but it's good for the industry. And anything that supports the industry in a greater way and regard means that we're undermining piracy, we're undermining things, and gives more money to developers, so we will eventually get more games, and it will help support the industry, and that'll eventually be good for gamers.
That's your lot, shut up your face. Apart from the fact, Tim, piracy and second-use games are two completely different arguments. I'll let you off. So, John.
Yes.
You are going to argue that this whole schmozzle about not allowing second-hand games to work in consoles, you're going to argue that it's not beneficial for gamers. So, you, sir, have 30 seconds when I say go to put your point across, and go!
Of course, second-use games aren't going to be beneficial to gamers. Once you've played a game and you've finished it, what are you going to do with it? Put it on eBay? No, nobody else can play it. Trade it in? Nope, nobody else can play it. What you're going to do is you're going to have to... All the publishers are going to have to fund a kind of massive landfill. And the earth is going to become part crust, part mud, and part Blu-ray disc. And that's not on. I think about the trees aren't going to grow. It's going to damage the world, and ultimately a damaged world means nobody's going to make any games. So, you know, in some way or another, that's not going to benefit gamers at all, because they'll have no games to keep playing.
That's your lot. That was the world's most random direction to take that argument
Don't
in.
you think that it'll actually lead to less game sales because people will be more cautious about buying games?
Well, there'll be that as well, but most importantly, the world does not need to be part Blu-ray disc in order to work. It might load. The world will probably load slower as well.
John, I know this is anathema to you, but just shut up for a minute. Okay, so your argument is saying it's bad for the world that it's going to become part Blu-ray. Okay, Blu-ray discs are reflective. That would reflect away heat from the Earth's surface, therefore alleviating the problem of global warming. Therefore,
but we'd all die.
No. Well,
it would reflect light away as well.
No, light. We would still get light, but it would reflect the heat away, as well as some light, admittedly.
Unless the Blu-rays are piled up so high that they've got to the outer atmosphere, we should be okay. Is basically
so, John, because your argument is based on it's scientifically unsound principles.
And
Tim wins.
Is based on piracy.
Tim wins.
Nobody
congratulations.
wins.
Tim wins, which means John does not win. So
don't take my wins away from me, John.
So apart from that, I completely disagree with that point of view, Tim. You do win, so congratulations, sir. Right, well that's just about an episode, but we've got some housekeeping to do before we go, and first and foremost is to announce the winners of our wonderful Kingdoms of Amalur competition. John got on Photoshop and made a picture, which he was very proud about, that he only went on for 10 minutes before we started recording the show, going, okay, do you know the Photoshop? Oh, my Photoshop was...
I asked it
great.
Once.
No, you said it several times. Anyway.
Because he didn't reply.
And there was a good reason for that, young sir.
No, it was a funny photoshoppings. Well done.
It was. So our two winners are as follows. The winner of the PS3 copy of the DLC...
with a very funny answer. I like that one. That was good.
Yep, was Lysander117. And the other winner is, who's going to be the lucky recipient of the 360 DLC code, is none other than the very marvellously named Bilbo T. Baggins.
Good name.
So congratulations to the both of you. And Tim presumably will be either emailing or PMing you your code. So congratulations.
Yeah, just get in contact with me on the forums and I will reply with your code.
But Tim, you want to do more competitions, you crazy fool.
I am a crazy man with a crazy plan, and we have competitions are coming out of our ears. We'll definitely have a competition for a few more weeks. But this week we've got a Witcher 2 competition. You can win a copy of the original book. I think it's actually a collection of short stories, but it's the book that the game was originally based on. And I've also got some Witcher 2 t-shirts, and I've got 3 sets of each. As we like this week's caption competition, I think we'll go with that again. There'll be a picture of the Witcher, and just come a Witcher picture, even and
a Witcher picture,
and come give us a caption for that, and you could win a copy of the book and a t-shirt.
Yay!
Marvellous. And is there any other competitions you want to do, sir?
No, we've got a copy of Syndicate on PC to give away as well. Actually, we might as well do that now. That's running a bit behind, and good little game that came out a bit ago. I haven't played the PC version, but I played the 360 version. It was good fun, and basically, let's just go with fastest person to write in and do it after the show. You should be listening to the show quickly, so fastest person to contact me, first one to contact me via the forums with a private message who wants a copy of Syndicate on the PC will get one. There you go.
Marvellous.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that.
Games.
So there we go. That was quite possibly the hastiest cobbled together competition segment we've ever done, because
was not cobbled 2 minutes ago at all. And was
it's not that we forgot about it until the last minute.
Professional with a capital Z.
And Dave definitely didn't have to edit 2 minutes of me and John going, what, we're doing competitions this week out the episode. There we go. Organisation is a good thing, evidently.
But hey, competitions are good. You've got some.
Competitions are marvellous.
We've given them to you.
So, shout-out wise, there's only one this week, chaps.
Just one?
From the iTunes section of the iTunes, and it's from Morders, who was kind enough to give us a 5-star review, but demanded the answer to the following question. Tim?
Yep.
What kind of dog would you be, and why?
A happy dog?
That's not a breed
That's
of
not
dog.
a breed of dog.
He didn't say breed.
Well,
he said
kind
of dog.
I'd be a very kind dog.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know what you've got, Tim? Shitzu for brains. Hey! Waka waka. Hey! I'm here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus, you did promise jokes this week, didn't you?
I did, and there was one.
And that's a real Shitzu of a joke, yeah.
It is a real Shitzu joke. Yes. Anyway, so is there anyone else we'd like to say thank you to?
Do we have to edit out the word Shitzu?
No, Shitzu is a name of a dog.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. You can say the word Shitzu as many times as you like.
Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention about the word about Witcher as well. There's frequent uses of the words ploughing, as in go plough your wife.
As in go plough that hairy field.
Yeah, kind of.
Marvellous.
But yeah, basically the F word is completely replaced with the word plough throughout the whole game, and it works really well.
So if the whole thing
is... Go plough off, mate.
No, so the whole thing, if presumably the farming analogy holds true, so you're putting your hoe in your hoe so you can enjoy your hoe while you're enjoying your hoe.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. Again,
way to kill the show. Thanks.
That's all right. So moving on.
Really funny, guys.
So moving on, Tim, before you remember anything else from 3 years ago, is there anyone else you would like to say thank you to?
Well, one thing that we haven't really done, and maybe we should have made a full and comprehensive list, but I just want to thank everyone that's on the Big Red Barrel staff. We've got quite a lot of staff. Pretty much everyone that came over from Sarcastic Gamer, and we've added a few new people to the ranks and stuff like that. And I have been a bit slack in one thing. I want to get the staff page together, so we'll be doing that hopefully as soon as I've finished my Witcher 2 review. So basically look out for that and have a few more details on the people that make Big Red Barrel what it is.
And hey, just come along and say hello to us on the forums. Just say hello.
I think we should also thank Dave, because he edits this every single week and makes it sound far funnier than we actually
are. And we teach him a new language as he edits it as well.
Yeah, it's called Scottish. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's fantastic. No, I actually run your audio track through Dragon Dictate before I send it to him.
No, but it'll just come out as like random
garbled
stuff.
Random.
Well, it's a bit like, have you ever, seriously, go and do this, ladies and gents. Go and watch our Mass Effect 3 ramble, which you can find on the BRB TV YouTube channel, and turn closed captioning on that it generates itself. The amount of random crap that it thinks we're saying is marvellous.
That sounds brilliant. I
That's
really
exactly
have to do
what I
that,
just
actually.
spit out.
Yeah, exactly. He said, go and do that. It's brilliant. And please tell us what your favourite line that we apparently said according to YouTube's brain.
We are still working on the technology to bring you subtitles for John during the podcast. We're doing what we can.
We're doing what we can. So anyway, chaps, I think that is very much a show. So we ought to get out of here. So I've been Dan.
I might have been, maybe, possibly Tim.
No, you haven't.
I nearly said my email then.
I know.
Who?
We went. Oh, damn it, Tim! We went for a whole episode without either of us making that particular mistake. You hadn't called me Cat once. I hadn't called you Mighty Mutt once.
And I am the smart one here.
I hadn't called you a twat either, but you know.
Name calling.
John, you going to say goodbye?
I'll do it because no one else says bye.
Whoa! You never say goodbye. You usually say complete nonsense.
Well, you know what? Maybe this week.
Oh,
Marvellous. So, until next time then, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarel.com.